Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire potential briefing for Thursday, July 16th. We're expecting more wet thunderstorms through the weekend into next week. For most of the region, debris flows will be a concern. We're looking at breezy, drier conditions in western Nevada. Today and Friday be the only real dry area in our area for the next couple of days. And we will see some of that monsoonal moisture not just pushing northwards, but spreading a bit further westwards and covering some of those drier areas in Nevada by early next week. Our fuels are really in a state of rapid change right now. We have steady moistening in many areas, especially eastern, central areas, drier a little bit in western areas, but that's going to change in the coming days. Looking at impact maps for today, we have that widespread monsoonal push. You can see it's a bit drier in the west, and we do have some breezy conditions, maybe not critical winds, but more of that 15 to 25 mile an hour wind in western Nevada today and more in the high Sierra tomorrow. And otherwise, we're looking at hotter, drier conditions continuing. Satellite imagery showing just a really good push of moisture through much of the area. You can see where it is a bit drier, though, in parts of Idaho and western Nevada. Over the last 24 hours, quite a bit of lightning, but it's coming with some precipitation, light to moderate. There are some isolated, heavier downpours. We see some of the greens there close to a half-inch. Over the past 7 days, you can see, and a lot of this is in the past 3 days, quite a bit. Western Nevada did get a good shot of precipitation early on with a piece of the monsoon breaking off through there, but most of it has been more in eastern areas since then. You can see the percent of normals here, and they did get some decent precipitation there. Overall, we're looking at quite a bit of IA where we've had that lightning, but the fires are staying kind of small, given by the small red circles. Not seeing much starts yet up in the mountains of Idaho. Our ERC point map also, even though some of the values are quite high here in the red, you notice the downward arrows. Things are moistening quite a bit, and they have moistened with some of that initial precipitation a few days ago in parts of western Nevada. So the big picture, we have this huge dome of high pressure up over Wyoming, clockwise flow pulling up moisture from the south. That moist flow is being accentuated by this low pressure area off the Pacific Northwest coast, and we'll continue seeing that pattern, but you can see some dry air intrusion into far western areas. So there's a bit of moderate risk with the winds and also some of the drier conditions, but otherwise we see more moistening, and some of that moistening does affect northern areas by the time we get into the start of the weekend. Looking at winds and humidity, you can see some breezy conditions with these dark green and orange shades in western Nevada today, and along the high Sierra on Thursday. And you can see the humidities in parts of western Nevada. Again, we're looking at low teens, even some upper single digits, but then quite a bit higher as you head into eastern Nevada and all of Utah and Idaho, and a lot of daytime humidity is having a tough time getting below 50%, and that's going to have a significant positive impact for a lot of our incidents, except for some of the localized heavy rains. So day by day, we see a lot of that precipitation, and even though a lot of it is fairly light, there'll be some pockets of heavier precipitation, the dark green and blues. That could be a local quarter to half inch, and that could fall in a very short time period. So again, debris flows on steep burned terrain is a big concern. And then really not much change. We do have a tropical system off the coast. It actually robs a little bit of moisture from the monsoon, but still this area in the black indicates there could be some more surges. As long as the high stays off to our east, that's going to be the case. We'll have that continued southerly flow, and that's going to bring some moisture in some of those areas into western Nevada and to parts of southwest Idaho as well. So the area in brown starts to get a little more decreased. And you can see the humidity being in the 10 to 18% range in parts of western Nevada, but then you can see it rising up into the upper teens and low 20s out there, and still remaining very high humidity in all other areas as you head further east. And you can see the precipitation day by day continuing in a lot of our areas and spreading westwards as we go into early next week. So overall, good news on the 70 outlook. We do see modification in a lot of areas, but still kind of keeping it a little dry in northwest Nevada, but we'll maybe moderate that as well. We'll see how future computer models run. And the longer range outlook continues to show some of that monsoonal push going into most of our area, along with above normal temperatures. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.